What's up, strongest men, women, and children from blocks all around the world? I am my block's strongest man, and this is the greatest time of the year for strength sports, World's Strongest Man 2021.
Ciao, homie.
So if you went to YouTube and typed in World's Strongest Man 2021 predictions or WSM 2021 predictions or World's Strongest Man qualifiers predictions or anything like that, you've come to the right place. Today we're going to be discussing World's Strongest Man 2021 Group 2 qualifying group. So who is in the World's Strongest Man 2021 Group 2 qualifiers? Well, Trey Mitchell, Johnny Hansen, Sweden's Strongest Man, the ageless wonder Mark Felix, Evan Singleton, and of course, the albatross Tom Stoltman descends on Sacramento once again for World's Strongest Man 2021. So if we go take a look at my block strongest spreadsheet, we can have a look at where we think each of these gentlemen is currently sitting in terms of their prep. So I've broken out what the events will be for this particular group, and they're going to be doing deadlift and train pull. So deadlift, not squat, train pull, not fingers. And so we can see that, of course, every group does the loading medley. And I've gone through extensively these guys' Instagrams in some cases, in case of Tom Stoltman, YouTube, to determine how their prep is going and kind of throw that together with how they've competed recently in contests and meld that all together into how we think they're going to perform. This is not instinct. This is, and some other people on the internet do it that way. So-and-so is always good at this event, so they'll win that event. And I mix in a little bit of that when I have lack of numerical evidence, but I try to go by the numbers on what they've most recently done to be as precise as possible. So, and of course, day of, things can change. They can get sick. Anything can happen, but we do our best on our predictions with the data we have. So Mark Felix did a frame. I didn't know what the weight was. I couldn't tell, and I didn't see him doing any loading prep. Johnny Hansen did a 330 kilo frame for what looked like about 33 feet. I kind of counted his paces and extrapolated that, and he did that very fast in 11 seconds. Didn't see him doing any loading prep. Trey Mitchell was using IFSA-style farmers, and one could argue it's not a frame, so it's different. One could also argue farmers are harder than frame. Trey, not necessarily known for his grip strength, but he has been training it and trying to bring it up this year, so we'll see. Hopefully, I really root for Trey Mitchell. I'm a big fan, so hopefully that comes up a bit and he does well. And he was doing that for 2 runs of 50 feet, so definitely a good distance there. Evan Singleton is looking extremely well all around. Any post I look at of him, he looks like he's pushing some great weight, except squat. He's a little below some of the other guys. But he's also extremely motivated, especially because of how he went out last year with that bicep injury. And he seems to be back in full force and very, very strong. As he mentions on his post, stones are kind of a tough thing that he's been working to improve over lots of time as well. But basically anything else he dominates in. 329 kilo frame for 50 feet from Evan Singleton. So right around the same weight as Johnny Hansen. Then in terms of loading, Evan Singleton did 113 kilos for 200 feet. So he's not taking any chances. He's doing long distance loading medleys here. Tom Stoltman, 300 kilo frame, so slightly less than some of the other guys. And he did that into a medley. So he had frame, keg, and then 2 sandbags, did the whole thing pretty quickly in about 46 seconds. So I think Tom's going to do very well in the frame loading medley. Moving on to deadlift, we have Mark Felix with a 410 kilo deadlift. Looked like for about 15-inch deadlift, not a traditional 9-inch. And we're trying to equate that to what that would be in 340 kilos, which is what will happen. So we try to equate that to what that'll be at 340 kilo contest weight, and I extrapolate it's about 6 reps. Johnny Hansen did a 370 kilo for a single, so that would be 340 for about 3. And then Trey Mitchell did all kinds of deadlifts. He did 365, deficit for 3. 397 for 3, 18-inch, 381 for 3. And so I think he'll come in, if it were to be a 9-inch deadlift, at 340 kilos for about 6 reps. Evan Singleton did 430 kilos for a single, a huge, huge deadlift. So that comes out to about 340 for 8 if he can keep up that kind of endurance and get that many done in the time limit. Tom Stoltman, 350 kilo deadlift. So he is kind of at the bottom of the pack here in terms of deadlift. He did that for a single. So the 340 would be also a single, maybe two if he's, doing better that day and so forth. And so I know I'm going to get some flack for where I'm going to place Tom Stoltman, but the numbers are telling a story here, and he may peak right on time and improve greatly from these numbers. Who knows? But I have to go by what I see here, and of course his past history in different contests. So deadlift for that, we can skip over the squat numbers. Singles fingers is not happening for this group. It's going to be a train pull. So in terms of the train pull, Trey Mitchell was doing a truck pull simulator, so not actually pulling, but kind of a machine cable-based simulator. Johnny Hansen has the most impressive truck pull of any of these guys. He was doing a flatbed with a tractor on top of it. He was very fast and seemed to have very good form, like he trains this often. And I didn't see Evan or Tom or Mark training this, so I'll have to extrapolate in terms of when you're doing a truck pull or a train pull, you kind of leaned over and pressing with your legs. So there's some element of a deadlift in it. There's some element of shoulder strength in it. You kind of got to extrapolate where we think they'll do. And, Tom, you would think is a tall guy. So when he leans over with the rope or the harness, will kind of cover more ground than the other guys. But he also has the weakest deadlift of any of these guys. Not a weak deadlift by any means. All of these guys are incredibly strong, but small differences make differences in placings. So that's kind of how I determine that. Then we move into the overhead medley. So we saw Mark Felix doing a circus of indeterminate weight. I wasn't sure what it was, and I didn't see him training circus barbell or axle. Johnny Hansen did 110 kilo circus dumbbell, which is about the weight that we expect at Worlds. And he did 140 kilo axle for 5, which means he'd probably be able to do about 158 for 1, which is pretty close to contest weight. So I think he'll be able to hit that 163 contest weight fairly easily. Trey Mitchell, 166 for 3, meaning his max would be 176 more or less on a circus barbell. I didn't see him doing any dumbbells, and he did a 209 axle out of the rack. Now, how do you compare axle out of the rack to an axle from the floor, which is what he'll probably be asked to do at Worlds? It's very difficult to kind of calculate that. So all I can say is he took 209 out of the rack, and Tom Stoltman took 180 out of the rack for 3, which would equal about 191 for 1. So rack for rack, Trey is a stronger overhead presser than Tom when it comes to axle, at least right now, from what I'm seeing in the prep. Evan Singleton made a 100 kilo dumbbell look very easy. Did a 165 circus barbell, mimicking circus barbell. It's not those globes, but they kind of get the whippy bar and get as close as they can, and did 3 reps easily. So he'd be around a 175 max presser there. And then Tom Stoltman had a 100 kilo dumbbell for 2 singles. And so pretty similar to what we saw Evan do, but Evan did them a lot more easily, in my opinion. And so that's the evidence that I use to determine where I think everybody's going to place. So the big question is, where do I think everybody's going to place? Well, the Group 2 World's Strongest Man qualifiers predictions say that Evan Singleton is going to win Group 2. And again, I'm going to get roasted for not having Tom Stoltman win this group, I'm very sure, but this is what the numbers tell me. If you have evidence to the contrary, definitely let me know in the comments below. And if it's compelling evidence, I'll consider it and change my position. So Evan Singleton, I think, wins with 5 points on the loading medley. 4 points goes to Tom Stoltman, who I think is a very, very close second there. 3 points to Johnny Hansen, 2 to Mark Felix, and Trey Mitchell, I think, comes in last in that medley. In the deadlift, I think Evan Singleton, with that 430 kilo, proves that he's going to win the deadlift. Trey Mitchell coming in second there. And then we'll have Mark Felix, a great deadlifter, will come in third, then Johnny Hansen, and then Tom Stoltman. So that's my order for deadlift. And you may have some guys tying on reps, but I don't think so. I think the differences in their power is different enough that they won't. Train pull. So again, I gave my reasons for why I think people will do better than others. And Johnny Hansen has proven huge truck pulling power. I think he wins the train pull. I think Tom Stoltman, I'm going to say he comes in second. I'm not convinced because, that deadlifting power like the other guys have isn't there. But I think the big long body will help him. Let's give it. He's Tom Stoltman. He has lots of success in the past. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt and say he comes in second in this. And I think Evan Singleton third with 3 points, 2 points to Trey. and one to Mark Felix here. On the overhead medley, I think Evan Singleton easily is going to win this one. Trey Mitchell easily second place, and then it becomes who's third, fourth, and fifth, and I think that'll be Johnny Hansen, then Tom Stoltman, then Mark Felix. The pickaxe hold, and I think Big Laz and Liz actually agree with this, is the hardest kind of event to pick because you don't see guys do it often. And my position on pickaxe has been kind of the tall guys with the long arms may struggle more just from a physics perspective, right? The center of gravity is far away from them. So I think Evan wins this. I think Mark Felix is second. Big Laz has said he thinks that Mark Felix is a good front holder, and I will agree with that. Third, I think, is Trey. Fourth, Johnny Hansen. And I think Tom Stoltman, who actually practiced this on his YouTube channel and didn't do very well, is going to come in last there, unfortunately. So then we come down to Evan Singleton winning the group, and it's Johnny Hansen or Trey Mitchell in the stone off. Unfortunately, I don't have Tom Stoltman making it to the finals. And between those two guys, Trey Mitchell is a world-class stone lifter. He will win the stone off. Evan Singleton and Trey Mitchell move on to the finals. Let me know in the comments below what you think of World's Strongest Man 2021 predictions and whether I got it right, or if I got it wrong, why I'm wrong. And of course, as always, until next time, ciao, homie.
So if you like this video and haven't done so yet, please consider subscribing using that button right there. And also stay tuned for some other videos that you might love blooping up right there. This one is the one that YouTube thinks that you will like the best, and this one is the one that I think you will like the best. As always, share this with everyone, and until next time, ciao, homie.